What's good, Internet? My name is attackslug, and welcome to Because Reasons, the show where I look at games just because I feel like it. And today, taking a look at Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE, and the FE stands for Fire Emblem. This game came out about 3 months ago, and I'm still only about 5 hours in. But I thought, you know what, if I don't do a video now, I'm just never going to get it done. This is like a 50 to 60 hour game, and I am terrible about finishing RPGs. Welcome to Tokyo, or more specifically, welcome to Shibuya, a sector, a precinct, a prefecture, whatever the word is. This is a Japanese RPG, if you didn't already have any idea of what this is. This is from Atlus, in collaboration with Nintendo. So this is a Wii U exclusive. Was originally announced as a cross between Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem. And if you're like, man, it's gonna be all super dark and brooding, and it's totally not. It's based on, like, J-pop and idols and that whole culture. And my phone's going off in the game. So, this thing with the menu stuff in the game is kind of crazy, because there's a whole section of, like, text messaging that happens in the game on the gamepad. So, oh god, I just fucked up my white balance. I fixed it. So you get all these different things from your party members who want to talk to you on your phone, and you do it on the gamepad, which is crazy. So there's no off-TV play here. Anyway, I am just about at the next story juncture. So before I jump into the next story juncture, I'm going to hop into the first dungeon, go back to the first dungeon. I've already finished the first 2 dungeons, and like most RPGs, that's barely even scratching the surface. And again, welcome to Tokyo. There is so much to cover here. There's no way I'm going to be able to explain everything that's in this game, so I'm just going to kind of, be all over the place here. But if you like what you see and you have a Wii U, and perhaps you're not that familiar with Atlus games, they are seriously top-notch role-playing games. Uh-oh, I've triggered a thing. I didn't mean to trigger a thing. Who's this guy? It's cutscene time, baby. I was at the one. Yep. So all the voice acting is in Japanese, by the way. Basically, there are these Mirages. They're basically demons, and they are trying to kidnap entertainers and take their Performa, I believe is the term. The terms in this game are very, like, they made up their own term for everything, which is kind of insane. Toma here is my homeboy. He is in my party. Alright, enough with this dialogue here. I had not planned on that. I wanted to hop into the dungeon and show off the combat first, as this is an RPG. So hopefully... Oh, come on, really? I didn't expect more of a cutscene here. Yes, the idolosphere is basically the dungeons in this game. And the Mirages are the demons, so we're supposed to head to this photo shoot. And I did not head right there, because I had more things to talk about to you guys in this video. So, she's going on a modeling thing, and I'm assuming the photographer gets kidnapped or whatever, but I did not expect this nonsense, so my apologies on this stuff. I'm trying to get back into that first dungeon for, just a little brief look at the combat. But yes, there are a number of lengthy cutscenes that kind of play out like this. And if the idea of a game that is very drenched in the idol and the J-pop sphere just is not your thing, then this game is not going to appeal to you. But if you're looking for an excellent JRPG on the Wii U, you don't have a lot of options. There's Xenoblade Chronicles X or whatever. So there are side missions and side quests. I'm not sure what this girl wants just yet, because I haven't found it yet, but yes, there are different things that are outside your main mission. You can go on different... Yes, urgent topic. What do you want? Yes, go inside. That's all I wanted to do for the past 10 minutes. Go inside. Alright, so the dungeon stuff. You've got a full 3D camera here. If you've played any of the previous Atlus games, more specifically Persona, this stuff, like Persona 3 and 4, this stuff should be familiar. If you played any Atlus games in the past, I'd say decade, this battle system should seem familiar. It has a variation on the press turn system. You've got, it is a turn-based RPG. and you've got different skills, different items, and you want to basically identify the enemy's weaknesses, and then you will get additional turns from your compatriots here based on their weaknesses. So you hit your moves here. If they're weak to it, then your bros and whatnot get extra turns, and then obviously this is the first dungeon, so we totally whip some ass from those super easy ass enemies, right? So when you get to this screen, your weapons, you don't have Persona, you don't have demons. It is, you have the Fire Emblem characters are like your other half, and you get different weapons that have your different stat stuff. So I will head into some menus here for a little bit, because again, there is way too much to explain, but all this stuff, super stylish. There is most of your main cast. There seems to be one missing there at the top, but if we go into skills here, you can see I got all kinds of different skills. This is all, the skills you'll recognize from any other Atlus game. Dia, and there's Bufu, you know, Zio. Those are all pretty much across the board in most Atlus games. So you can see here, I got my crew here, and you have your wardrobe stats, your stats. Your stats all kind of are automatic when you level. You're not picking to put points and stuff. So I get profile here, and there is my main dude and his signature, and what's going on with, you know, my events, my bio sheet. So there are systems upon systems upon systems in this game, and the scope of this video is not going to explain them all. Honestly, it's going to explain a fraction of them. So I'm going to head back out. That's the basic, just low-level amount of the combat. So I'm going to try to get to the next dungeon, the third dungeon in the game. But before that, I'm going to head to where all the upgrade stuff happens, as my phone here on the tablet keeps going off because they want me to go back to the office. So we're going to go back to the office now, because going back to the office is where you upgrade your stuff. So not a whole lot to do out in the world just yet. Obviously, you know, this is only about 5.5 hours in, so I'm not quite there yet. We're going to head back to the office and see what cutscene that plays out when I get there. I might just skip it for this video. Alright, here we are with Tsubasa, who is kind of our childhood friend trope of a character who secretly likes us and we're oblivious, because this game just deals in tropes pretty heavily. It's an emergency. Something strange is happening in Shibuya. What could it be? I bet it's a Mirage. I bet they've opened up another portal into the Adalasphere. So that's where we're going to go next. But before I head to the next story point, each character in your party does have side stories, which I have not got into yet because I'm not high enough level to trigger any of their side stories, so we're not going to get into that, unfortunately. This vending machines here will give you basically stat boosts, your luck, and your health and whatnot. But heading over here is where we actually increase our individual weapon levels. So your weapons is how you get more skills, and when you level up, your weapons also level up and gain more skills, and I'm in another goddamn cutscene apparently. And here we have Tharja, another Fire Emblem character, hanging out here. Tiki there is a Vocaloid, much in the vein of Hatsune Miku. That's kind of her role in the game, more or less, but she helps you level up your stuff and combine your stuff and do. We'll get at that here in a second. Alright, I keep getting interrupted. This is the Bloom Palace. We're going to go talk to Tiki here and do some, I mean, it's essentially crafting. So, we do Carnages, which is Deathbringer there. We're going to do that. And Radiant skills for Kiria. So, that being said, the Carnage Unity here, basically you get drops from enemies, you take those drops, and then you make them into items. So you can see it's all the same usual Atlus stuff with, you know, fire, ice, electric, wind, etc., etc., and you can see which ones are weak and which one has a resistance to, etc., etc. So when you use a weapon, keep using it, eventually you master it, and then you want to move on to the next one. So if I actually go up here, you can see Iron Sword. I have mastered the Iron Sword. I have not mastered the EP or the Rapier, but here we have Deathbringer, and it has, you know, attack goes from 38 to 51, and then we hit the button here to craft it, And then we go, yes, I want this thing. And then we get a little bit of a cutscene that shows you performing this carnage unity. Again, they've assigned their own language to all these different typical RPG conventions, and it kind of gets a little bit confusing to explain it, is what I'm saying. But here is this cutscene that gives us a new weapon, hopefully. And there it is, the Deathbringer! Looks pretty badass. And there I am in my outfit with that Carnage thing. So yes, equip it. Even though you really should kind of maximize all your other weapons beforehand, I'm just going to equip it and not worry about it for the scope of this video. So, that being done, I'm going to back out here to the other one, which is the Radiant Unity, which is basically your passive skills. So I'm going to head over here to Kiria and say, I want that to detect hidden traps in dungeons for a fixed number of steps, and then I can hit this and hit yes, and it should give me a little Unity cutscene. I know with most of the characters, they kind of do like a bro fist type deal, which is funny. But I think the ones that the girls have is a little bit different. But the kind of, sparkly anime bullshit, basically. And if you're into sparkly anime bullshit, this game has the most of it. And I think it's pretty good. So, here you go. They just kind of do the hand thing. But the dudes kind of have like a fist bump, which is pretty funny. And then she gets a new deal here, a new skill. It's basically skills. Now, some are active, some are passive. So, EP Fitness, obviously, a passive skill. So we're going to do that. And thankfully, you don't have to watch that little cutscene every time. You just kind of mash the A button, and then you're done! Boom! New skill, EP Fitness. So, that being said, let's head to the next story point here, and then wrap up this video. I know I have not shown off nearly enough of this game, but in the scope of how I usually do my videos, RPGs are tough. There's so much in here that they are tough to explain in a concise manner, basically. So back here in Shibuya, and you can see shit is going down. The Mirages are trying to kidnap people and absorb their Performa or something. It's, your standard end-of-the-world anime trope stuff, kind of wrapped in a J-pop type deal, and that's obviously the entrance to the Idolosphere, so we're going to go in there for just a little bit and fight some dudes, which is kind of how a lot of this game works. And there we can see the photographer that we heard so much about has been possessed, and now he has a fucked up camera and is taking people's souls or something. So, yep, he definitely has a problem here. Oh, and he's gonna apparently kidnap our boss, so there's that part of it. Yep, totally kidnapped our boss, the lady who runs our talent agency. So I'm assuming that he is gonna be the boss of this particular dungeon. So here we are. When you're in the world, you don't have like the camera's not 3D. It's just you can kind of just zoom it around like this, which is kind of weird, but that's kind of the limitations of whatever they designed it to be, I suppose. There it is. I finally found it. It's way over here in the corner. The entrance to the third dungeon. Let's get to moving. So I guess here is our cutscene as we enter into the third dungeon. You can only have 3 party members at one time, so you kind of got to pick which 3 you want. But then obviously different sub-stories for those characters only unlock at certain levels. So it's important obviously to level your whole party and all that good stuff. So here we go. There is a dungeon map. If I hit on the controller here, there will be a dungeon map. So that's kind of important, but you're going to kind of wander around and look for demons and that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, mirages. So each dungeon kind of has its own different gimmick of how to get through the traversal, or at least it has so far. And basically you wander around and encounter enemies, and sometimes friendlies that will help you out. And they'll spawn, and you hit them and walk into them, or they'll walk into you, and you will trigger your battle here. And, it's a pretty standard battle system. There obviously are a few tricks to it, because you do have a special here, which for him is the Empty Wave, which is a much more powerful thing, which will kind of affect everybody, or at least do extra damage to, whoever it's intended for. But these guys are weak to Zeo, so we're gonna hit them up with the Zeo, and you know, do what we do here, and get our extra turns because they're weak to it. Now that works both ways. So if you are weak to a thing, then they get extra turns. So it's important to craft new items to not be weak to things, which is, you know, a pretty good way to run your business, more or less. But I think this is very flashy and very well made, and makes me very excited for Persona 5 coming out next year in February. And yes, he's weak to ice. And yep, change, etc., etc. So I can hit change to my subcast here and use Kyria, and now she's tagged in. It's time for a tag team match, player. And she's got not a whole lot of skills just yet, so it's going to do a basic attack here because this thing's almost dead. Almost dead. So I don't know. This game's pretty cool, and I'm trying to find more time to play it. Because trying to find time to play RPGs is difficult. But I gained some levels here, doing some things. My stage rank. Okay, so there's levels and your stage rank. And your stage rank determines when you do the subquests for your party members in between the main chapters. This is only chapter 2, but you get an intermission in between. So yes, new side story. So, as you can see, I'm still very early, even at 5.5 hours. Still very early. Now your skills here, not only do you get skills to fill out your skill list, but certain skills can actually increase into a +1, +2 situation. So, very important to pick and choose what that stuff is. So, there you go. +1 to Bufu, which is ice. Anyway, that was a very basic-ass, for as long as this video was, a very basic-ass look at Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE on the Wii U. If you're looking for a just awesome Japanese RPG on the Wii U, again, there's not a whole lot of options, and this is a good one. And certainly, if you're looking for a game to bide your time until Persona 5, then you probably already should have been playing this. So, until then, until next time, as always, this is Because of Reasons. I am attackslug, and I'll see you next time, right here on this channel, and I'm out.